bird in the hand is worth two in the bush is exactly right. You can get a $12 million judgment, a civil judgment, but you won't collect against a shell company, whereas in a criminal case, you can pretty much count on getting some sort of restitution back. To pony on what Stacy just said, I will say that if you want to sell your case to government, if you want to sell your case to ICE or to DOJ, asset forfeiture is big. And if you can show that this person has assets to be seized, in a case that we're doing now, counterfeit pharmaceutical case, we've identified $70 million. That's a very attractive case because government not only sees it as restitution back to the victim, but it says, hey, ICE is going to spend $3 million on this case. We're going to see some sort of return on what we're doing in addition to putting the guys in jail.
Yes. Why don't you try and then I'll just repeat your question.
We need an additional remedy, I think, like with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, where we've got takedown procedures. You know, you just talked about a lot of money that you spend trying to track these people down. But what if we had takedown procedures for trademarks? How hard is it to get something like that?
Just to repeat the question briefly, it had to do with the ability to get trademark takedown procedures so that there is the remedy at the tail end of it. I'm not sure if anyone has the ability to or able to speak to that, suggest that.
But you can take them down and they pop up again right away under a different name or in a different site.
But then you take it down again. I mean, yeah, maybe that is a never-ending process, but as an additional remedy, it might help as far as enforcement.
Yeah,
The ISPs are going to be a little discouraged then. They're continually having to take things down. It seems to me that they would examine a little more closely what they're doing. They had to continually be taking these things down.
well, there are some companies that are very vigorous in doing it. It's like the old whack-a-mole arcade game where you hit the thing and it pops up somewhere else.
Judge Liu?
I alluded to this problem in my presentation, and I didn't want to get into it too much. It was a trademark case, and the problem with the takedown is this: it's a small-sized company, but the judgments in the millions would shut down the company, perhaps. And what they did was they started assigning their assets elsewhere. And so now, unlike those foreign countries that have a judgment collection bureau, such as in China and so many of the civil law countries, we don't have that here. It's left to the whims of the lawyers representing the clients. In this particular case, the lawyers came back to me and with the proper documentation asked that I modify the judgments to have alter egos. And back to back, I have two trademark cases where they came in, found money, they traced it, and I added the person with the money onto the judgment. Now they're going all crazy, but the fact of the matter is, if you can trace the money, you will get satisfaction. But if you can't, I think the best thing that could be done is to shut down the operation. So I think there has to be a prioritization as to what you want in life, such as the government. They have lack of resources. Your private lawyers with your clients, they have minimal resources that they want to give to this section, and they have to prioritize where you want to spend the money. If you're going to have a pauper as a defendant, shut them down and move on. But if there is money, trace it, and perhaps you can get satisfaction. But it's a very difficult question to answer for you.
I think we have time for one more question. The question had to do with parallel imports with U.S. companies being set up all over the world and the issue regarding how to address the issue of parallel imports, particularly in the context of counterfeit goods. Maybe getting into a session for another 3-hour session on gray market and parallel import goods, but I'm not sure if anyone has a quick comment on the parallels between the two, how best to address them, and the ability to do so.
Well, parallel imports are one example of pharmaceuticals, parallel imports. We're talking completely counterfeit goods here, so that's not really an issue that we can concern about. That was, I've had that raised as a defense in some of the criminal trials that I've been in, where the defendant has raised the question of parallel imports. There's no parallel import in counterfeit